Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And seeing as this is 3MB, we're proudly sponsored by VMB Auto Centres at Handsworth. They're still offering that amazing deal of 50% off your MOT when you let them know that you're a Rambler. Call them now on 0114 322 4446. Thank you to VMB Auto Centres for their continued support of the Ramble.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy. Just quickly, discreetly checking my microphone there as we came on air. Nobody noticed, so it's absolutely fine. How are we all? This is 3 Mardy Blades. Before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to Mr. Vancouver and Luke Taylor, who both sent super chats in on the last live, and they didn't pull through in time for me to read them out. But thank you so much for your support of the channel. I really, really appreciate it. 3 Mardy Blades tonight. It's an ironic name usually. I tend to think on the channel as a whole, and certainly when we get together as a 3, we're quite positive and quite optimistic. Well, last week it certainly wasn't any of that. It was before the end of the window. We knew we needed more in. It was before the end of the window. I'm pretty sure it was. Yes, it was. Monday with the window. Oh my God, this week. Right, so we knew we needed more. We'd just come off that really disappointing result and performance against Middlesbrough. And things weren't great. And they're not great at the club, let's be honest, in terms of the form and what's happened to us. The start that we've had has been abysmal. There's no other way to describe it, really. But tonight, I'm hoping anyway, I haven't spoken to the lads. I haven't said, come on, let's be positive. I've just titled it and they've just turned up. So it's a case of we'll see how they feel about it. But I feel, and I always work myself into this way of thinking, I feel like there's reasons for optimism. And I can get into it, but I'll wait until I've got the boys on. So up first, it's Paul, the Man Mountain.
This is the view from the mountain, with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man Mountain, strong and true. What a man, what a view.
What is happening, pal? What? It's ridiculous, this now, right? He's got so comfortable on stream that he knows he can't be heard while the intros are playing. So you say something that tries to trigger me every time, and it works. So thank you for your unprofessionalism. I really appreciate it. What did you say? What did you say?
Tell everybody all the secrets, Jim, all the magic.
What did you? We have never kept secrets. You say out loud what you said while the intro were playing.
Merely commented on my appearance again.
Here he comes, the pasty-faced trucker.
Well,
is that right? Well, let's get the other one on. Who's giggling away in the background as I can hear him as well.
I look like a blinking I need to.
Well, send me some more photos then, and I'll change it. Well, I don't know if I can now. It might just be as it is. Anyway, it's Dave the Nose. Save us, Dave. Save us from this chaos.
He's absolutely broken me there.
I know. There's no need for it, is there? There's no need for it. We're trying to get a show off and running, and he's there, you know.
Heaven forbid we try and enjoy ourselves.
Yes, there'll be none of that on here. None of that. That's absolutely disgraceful. Look, I am going to try and make sure we're enjoying Sheffield United a lot more than we are currently, because I feel like there are reasons for optimism.
Have you took over as manager then?
That would not be a reason for optimism. That would not be a reason.
But worse.
I think there are two things that we can focus on here. I think the transfer window was absolutely superb, and we've already covered that in depth, but we can still touch on it. That is certainly one reason for optimism. And the second reason, and I'm confident that this is the case, the board will not allow this to continue. So either Sayers turns it around or he'll go. And that is my reason for optimism. And I think that's worth having a discussion about, whether you think I'm just sort of blindly fooling myself or whether you think it's okay to have that sort of outlook on it. I am still obviously gutted about how we've started. I think it sort of makes us readjust in terms of what we can expect from the season. I think it's got to be a playoff push at best, and then anything else is an absolute bonus. But I think I can't even contemplate automatic promotion at the minute. We just need to halt this terrible run of form. Paul, you're shaking your head already.
No, I just don't believe in I don't believe 4 games in you can rule out or anything. I think as United fans, we should just be looking for an improvement in performance, a big improvement in performance. There'll be some golden signings. Hopefully there'll be some terrible signings which we'll reflect on. Obviously, we don't know, do we? We should be optimistic because there'll be a change, won't there? There'll certainly be a change to the personnel on the field. And like you said, if he wins the next 3 games on the spin, he'll probably keep his job. And if he keeps winning, we'll all be happy about it. I just think that the way that the first load of games have gone down, and the way and the performances, and how everybody's just dropped off several levels for me. I just find it really difficult to see how his methods are going to work. Like I said to you, I think they'd have done better if they'd just said to the players, right, off you go. In theory, I think they could have won a couple of those games, not playing particularly well. And I think I don't see. I think we've got a really strong squad. I think if someone does come in and inherit it, it's a side they'll be licking their lips, because there's a lot of good players in a lot of positions there. And in this division, it is a very strong squad. So, I think we should be a little bit optimistic. And like you say, either the manager starts winning or he'll get replaced, because it can't crack on like it has, obviously.
Dave, what are your thoughts on it, pal?
I'm super optimistic because I've not had to go and watch them this weekend. It's been fantastic. I've been and watched Aaron this morning. Well, obviously a bit more than just watched Aaron this morning, but I can't say because it's not published league, sadly. I'd love to be able to say how well it was. So
it's gone well.
Depends on what you're looking for, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed watching that a lot more than I've enjoyed watching United this season. So plenty to be optimistic about. I'm finding it very difficult to just see the bodies coming in and thinking that suddenly everything's going to be okay. Just being honest, I'm fine. I'm in a bit of a funk about it all at the moment. I'll still be there. I'll still be cheering. But to be honest, I'm finding it very, very difficult to think. I'm excited for Friday night. At one point I was thinking, well, shall I try and get a ticket and go down after work on Friday? And then, something's come up, which means I wouldn't be able to anyway. But that enthusiasm soon went. And then, the next home game comes along thick and fast, and something might get in the way of me going to that. And at the moment, I'm finding it very hard to. Normally, I'd be disappointed when things are going to get in the way of me going, but I'm just being honest. At the moment,
are you in that Premier League funk? Do you think that we've found ourselves in? Oh, yeah.
It reminds me a lot of it. Yeah.
Uptown funk.
No, I know you're sat there, Paul, thinking I'm probably being super negative. So I think there are things to be optimistic about, but I'm just, until I see some evidence of it coming to fruition, I'm just a bit flat about it all.
There's got to be a change, Dave. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people said there's got to be a change somewhere. It's either a massive change in terms of performance, or it's a change of manager. So I think that's where we are with it, and I think Jim's probably right that.
And that's the reason for the optimism, isn't it? Because it will change. It cannot continue as it is, and we've been through what I believe is the worst bit. And if it's to continue, it'll be for one game and maybe 2 at most. and then that'll be it. Because the only worry for me, and I suppose this comes onto a separate subject really, but is who comes in to replace him if it doesn't go Selles. If he don't turn it around, I think the majority of us expect him to be sacked within 2 games, I would say, because you can't lose essentially 7 competitive games on the spin, and Charlton at home being one of them. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and if he does go, the name at the moment that's doing the rounds, and this will fluctuate, but we have to talk about what's current. I understand Rob Staten's debunked it as well today, which sort of squashes it a little bit for me, because Radio Sheffield boys don't normally put information out if they're not sure of it. But I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak for Rob in terms of whether it's Rob's personal opinion or whether he's heard it, because obviously they're close to people in and around the region that might know.
Yeah.
But Danny Roll is the name on most people's lips at the minute. I think he's either Bucky's favourite. Dave, what are you grumbling about?
I think I saw the tweet, and I think it said something along the lines of that he's got a special affinity to Sheffield Wednesday. And I'm thinking,
I saw that.
Despite the fact that he did everything that he could possibly do to get out of there, including essentially going on strike when they were going through all sorts of turmoil, I'm thinking, yeah, it sounds like some great affinity.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that element of it. I didn't agree with that. But
I said it. Well, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I said it a while ago, a few weeks ago.
A long time since.
I could see Sayers getting sacked and Roll getting it. So I fully expect that to be what happens. Not what I want to happen, but
I think you mentioned Roll before Sayers came in, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that were publicly or just to us, but I know that you've mentioned him.
Am I wrong in saying this, Jim? That was he not? Did they not interview him?
Yeah.
Part of the.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they spoke to him.
So I mean, I think for me that sort of makes it a little bit more credible. I'd say that if they've gone out of the way to entertain an interview, you'd imagine it's probably more likely than not. Then it's more likely to have
some legs. Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen, obviously.
What would you think to it, Paul?
Well, I think it's widely acknowledged if you get he's a pig out your head, then he's
but that's you can't skip over that lightly, can you?
Well, we do with players, and we have done with managers in the past. So I think it's because it's fresh, because it's quite recent. It does make it slightly different. I think you're right about that. There will be, especially with his little thing that he had with Wilder. There will be more of what you're talking about. Does it mean it's impossible? Absolutely not. And did he do a good job? I think most people would say absolutely yes, because the wage bill and the squad that he was managing, I think he overachieved. They were looking in reasonable opportunity to get into the playoffs at one point, weren't they? And he even alluded to that, didn't he? He said, we'll be playing these in the playoffs when we were third and they were 9th or 8th or something, didn't he, when we played them? But I don't think he had the squad at the right time of the season to continue the form that they were showing at certain points. So yeah, I think he did a good job. He certainly knew how to set the team up. And yeah, I mean, at the minute, mate, I'd take a cuddly toy at the minute, because I think that even if you pick the right 11, I don't think you have to tell them much, do you? You just go on, lads. I think that we could probably, I feel like if you can spot what's wrong, and I think that's part of my problem, is that I don't think Sayers can spot what's wrong here, and I think most of the supporters think they can, and I'd argue that when he does come to change it, I mean, I don't know if he's been stubborn about Samari and whether that holding midfield player is something he just doesn't want to do, but I think that could change an awful lot about how we perform as a team. And I think we've improved the 11. So often when you go through a window, you look for. Yeah, you need to balance the squad, and you need 2 players for every position. Ideally, is what you want, isn't it? But and I thought your squad evaluation was really good, Jim. And like you said about the left back being now the weakest, but I won't go into that too much. But I will say that the first 11, as we look at it, I think has improved in quite a few positions. So I think that's what you're looking for from a window, aren't you?
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for saying that, mate. A little plug for the squad assessment video that we've we've put out. It's something we do after every transfer window where we rate the signings at the players in the squad currently out of 5, spanning from poor to excellent.
There was one thing I was going to say to you though. Ben Mee has played left back before.
He has.
And I think
so. We potentially covered that out. And Ben Godfrey, you could class as a centre back as well, couldn't you? And I put him as a right back. So we were doing one player per position. But I don't think I'd be surprised if we opted for Ben Mee at left back. Maybe he's a backup to Burrows. I think he fancies.
There may be times, Jim, where we finish the game with him there. Personally,
possibly, but I think he fancies McCallum as a left back understudy. To be fair, he appears to anyway. I'm just saying it's. The Ramble keeps getting more and more technologically advanced, and I've managed to put a poll up in the chat. Get in, kudos to me. Would you take Danny Roll? Your choices are OI or no chance, and we've had 50 votes so far, and it's 52% saying yeah, they would. So it's split. To say it's split is, we split.
I wonder what they'd have said if it was asked after Wilder was sacked, and how much is based on how badly it's going at the moment versus.
I think so, yeah. If it was, do you want to change? I don't think it'd be anywhere near as close, would it? But it's who's potentially coming in that's the concern. So
it might be the best of who's interested. That's the thing. We all have our ideas about who we like. Cooper or Deitch, but and we assume that they'd be interested in us, but there's no guarantees they are. So we might be in a position where the old sausage roll is the best that we've got available.
I think it does depend on the alternatives, doesn't it? It's like if you
always does. That sometimes plays into why and when a manager's sacked as well, doesn't it? It's who else becomes available at the time. So that can.
We really don't know though with this board, do we? They've sat Wilder and they've hired Sayers, and I don't think if you'd have said before the playoff final, oh yeah, but whatever happens in this, they're going to sack Wilder, we're going to hire this guy, Ruben Selles. Like no one had him.
I think they were. Did they? Whatever happened, I think it was always.
You think they'd have sacked him either?
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
Wow. That's mad to think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely mad to think.
Well, yeah, it's mad to think we're in this position now, isn't it? Here we are.
Right. I know.
I'm positive tonight.
Paul, I think you had another positive you wanted to speak about. Che Ogbeni, you mentioned it just before we came on.
Oh, I did. And part of that interview, so he's done an interview 2 days ago. You should go and see it. There's hardly any views on it, actually. He's away with Ireland, and he's talking about, obviously, his role, obviously coming back from his injury and his 9-month layoff. He's talking about his community involvement. He's talking about his sister, who I believe has Down syndrome, and he's this guy already is quickly becoming my listening to how positive he is, and obviously the experience he brings to the table. Not just that, he also said, "Oh yeah, he actually feels in better condition than before when he was playing." He says they asked him about his top speed and whether he was at the same level as he was before, and he said, "I'm actually more consistent in my top speed now, so I can get to the same as I was at, but I do it more often, so I might get that top speed maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. But now when I do it, I'm doing it more consistently, that I'm reaching top speed, so I actually feel like my body's better." He says, "I've been in the gym, I've been looking at strengthening in areas where I felt I was weak before, and my conditioning is absolutely outstanding." He says he feels better than he ever has done. Guess how quickly he runs 100 meters in?
No idea.
10.2 seconds.
Shut the front door,
mate. That is
10.2.
That is like he could. That is like
that's Olympic level.
Nationally represent.
Yeah.
In a sprint race, he's that fast for 100 meters, and I was like, right, that's pace. That is serious.
He offers us something completely different. Obviously not just the pace element, because we've had pace before in Ollie Burke, but he's able to beat his man. I mean, the final ball is something that's been criticised for him previously. But if it was the finished article, and we said this about a lot of players that come to Sheffield United, it wouldn't be here. It'd be in Ipswich's side and sort of bombing down their wing and hopefully trying to get them fired back up as well. So I'm really excited by the Ogbeni signing. Go on, mate. You're going to
explain, because he said he did he liked it at Ipswich, and obviously he's been there throughout his rehab, and he's involved himself in the community and all that other stuff as well. It was really positive, and you've got to go and see it. You got to go and watch it. 20 minutes you won't regret.
I saw the clip of him talking about his sister. I haven't seen the full interview though.
Yeah, but he said he was talking about having a really honest conversation with the manager. In that he said, I'm selfish about my minutes, so if I'm in a side, I want to play. And the manager's I think the manager kind of explained that he would be part of things, but he wouldn't play like but he wouldn't be like maybe not first choice. And I don't think he just said, well, that's not what I'm after. I said, I want to get minutes in my legs. I've been out for the best part of a year. I want to play matches. And I think that's where we've managed to get him involved, obviously, and get him over, because it's a position we desperately needed. He's 28 years old. He brings lots of experience, international. I also watched some of his goals. I watched one of the little montages just to have a little idea. He's got a lot of headers. I was really surprised. He was on the end of a lot of headers, jumps well, times his runs into the box and that. I was a bit surprised. Didn't really have him pegged as that. But yeah, 10.2 for 100 meters. I went to school with a lad who could run it in 11 seconds, and it was like watching,
rapid, isn't it?
It's like watching a cartoon on the relays. It was like zoom past everybody. It's just crazy how fast that is.
I'm just having a look though, because Ipswich, it's quite a confusing one for them to send him out to us. It's either a huge insult to us as a side, him as a player, or a bit of both. Because we are supposed to be their direct rivals for promotion, and they've strengthened us with a player that we clearly rate, and they should do also. Go on, you look like you're going to tell me something.
Northern Ireland just equalised in Germany.
You love to see it.
Sorry, I was interested. I'm obviously.
It's all right. I didn't know whether it was something what we were saying, but
all Irish tonight, Northern Irish.
I've just had it. Who scored?
Looks like a centre half. Hang on, he's come up for a corner. Peeled off around the back. Number.
I was actually watching it. I thought you just got an 14. Alert.
No.
It's nice to see you're fully committed to the stream, mate.
I know, hey. and obviously advertising another thing to watch for people while he's on stream as well.
I'm married into the Irish, mate. My wife's dad's Northern Irish, so.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we're having a.
What about you, Paul?
So I put my green.
Oh no, Bronco.
What was that, mate? Yeah. I'll put my green top on. We'll skirt past that, Jim.
Nice. It's a nice top, that. It's a nice top.
It's one of our better kits, that. It's a shame that we were always rubbish when we wore it, but it's a great
We were
kit.
rubbish.
Yeah,
we were rubbish.
Ender Stevens. I always think of Ender Stevens when I wear I think of this kit for some reason.
So, Ipswich have got rid of Ogbenny, Sam Morsey, Luke Woofenden to Coventry, which I think is a really poor sale as well, for about £4 million. Luongo's gone to Millwall. He's already damaged us. They've let go of Harness, which is fair enough. Cameron Burgess to Swansea, who I think is a decent centre-half. Zwanzebi's gone to Burnley. Broadhead to Wrexham. I understand that one. He weren't going to push for their start, but Delap obviously has gone and Amari Hutchinson's gone. They're quite depleted in terms of some... just some confusing... Ogbenny to us I don't get, and the other one that confuses me is the Woofenden to Coventry. I think he's a really good centre-half. Who have they brought in? Ashley Young?
I think
David Chuba Akpom, Kipre, centre half, Furlong at West Brom, good player, but 29. We were looking at him at one point. Casey McAteer and that Wally Ageli, who's they're both right wingers. It's some really confusing business.
It is surprising that they send it out to people who you think are going to be, either in your division are going to be divisional rivals. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's almost like if you say to players that they're not going to play, and obviously they had a huge influx of players arrive, like every team that gets promoted, there's lots and lots of players arrive. And then when you go down, obviously they've got to get rid of players off the wage bill, but they've also got to respect the player. So it feels to me like Ogbenny really wanted to come to Sheffield United from his...
Do you not think it's naive, though, then? If you don't find it disrespectful, do you not find it a bit naive that they think he's a player?
I think the money side's really interesting, actually, because there can't be many teams in the league who would be able to cover the level of wages that he's on, I would have thought.
Yeah, possibly.
So if they've wanted that specific amount off the wage bill, thinking they're going to go for something else, then we talk about alternatives. There might not be many alternatives for tours. We might be covering all of his wages or nearly all of his wages, and other clubs might not be able to compete with that. Was he signed as a Premier League player
Yeah,
for them.
it was, yeah.
So, even if you assume they had similar deals to what our guys have had, where they've had relegation reductions in salary, he's still got to be on a fair old weekly wage, I thought. So, yeah, they might have been struggling to
I think he's the one that fits the idea of what we think we should be doing with our loans, really. I think he's probably a player that, you say that you want a loan player to be someone who might be slightly out of reach in terms of finance and maybe to buy or in terms of wages. I think he sort of fits the mold for me in that sense a little bit because, like you say, he'll be on reasonable money because I think he signed for about 8 or 10 million, didn't he?
Yeah, he did 8 mil. I think,
so when you think about that, that's going to come with a certain amount. Plus his age, he's 28, so he's not a 22-year-old who you can get on 25, 30k. He's probably going to be on a bit more than that as they go, as they get more experience. He should be coming into his prime really at 28. So yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those that we might not have got otherwise. And I think sometimes a loan can work, can't it? Because if we'd have gone and we say about, I heard Cal Fowler saying, Sheffield United and the 7 million loans that they get every year and all that stuff. And he said that. And I went,
he talks rubbish, him. Don't listen to him.
And I said to it, and I thought, yeah, but sometimes that's good because if Benny, if he does well for us, obviously you want to keep him. But if we lose the parachute money for next season, we might not be able to afford his wages. So you almost alleviate that risk. If someone had said to us, we signed Jezrak Saki, for example, for I don't know, 8 million, 10 million, whatever it would have been. If we'd have signed him, everyone would be saying now, whoa, bloody, what a waste of money that was.
40 grand a week, 45 grand a week. You think,
yeah, the fact is you get to send it back. Okay, we had a look, it didn't work, see you later, sort of thing. And again, I don't want to really say that because I thought his output, there's bits about him that were good.
I get it.
I think got 7 goals, 7 assists, something like that, didn't he? Which isn't bad. And he definitely won us a couple of games.
It's good for the minutes he got on the pitch. It's a really good return. Yeah. It's just if you look deeper into his performances, it was frustrating to watch at times, weren't it? So
I think the other thing as well, and I just wanted to raise this point as well about some of the guys that we've had a couple off Luton, haven't we? And we all remember what Anil Ahmedhodzic has gone away and is doing really well. I read an article about how Sheffield United will regret that for letting him go so cheap. But we all know the circumstances of the deal. He had a year left, etc., and we didn't want to lose him.
We got a good deal out of that.
Yeah. But when we were in the Premier League, he was a chocolate fire guard.
I think Bob is the official term.
He was poor. He was poor.
As were a lot of our players, to be honest.
Yeah, they were. But what I'm saying to you is he was poor in a poor season for us. And Luton were poor last season as well. And sometimes when you're surrounded by that kind of negative sort of things that are happening with your club, because Luton, no one had Luton down to go down, did they? They massively underachieved considering the personnel in the door last year. And I just think when you're part of a poor side in the division, it's easy to get people to go, well, he's rubbish, because a lot of the game is up here, and it is about confidence. It's about what's going on around you, and when you're on a poor run, it is hard. It's not easy to say, oh, well, just knuckle down, work twice as hard, and you'll work your way out of it. It don't work like that. So I think that it's like judging Chong and the centre half as well. I think it's difficult to sort of say that they're poor players just because they're part of a poor side. It may be that they come to the fore and
Good Lamer was part of a poor side, and look how good he was last season. So totally agree with that point. Bang on the money for me.
Yeah, completely agree. And it is a lot to do with your surroundings sometimes, and sometimes a little bit like, I suppose Jack Robinson said he needed a fresh start, and you can understand it, can't you? He has been up down with us, and it's been a roller coaster while he's been involved. And I take nothing away from, I'm not, this isn't a dig, this isn't a sort of, but it's just an example of a player that's been through an awful lot with Sheffield United, and he said in his welcome interview to Birmingham, essentially, he didn't feel like he could achieve anything more with us. And sometimes you get into those either mindsets or ruts or whatever it might be that you deem it to be. And we're in a new phase now. We've got a new manager, a new setup. Whether this manager's going to be the one to take us forward, it doesn't look likely at the moment. But hopefully we'll all be proved wrong. Yeah, it's interesting.
You have to say that about Robinson as well. For me as well, I think he was here a long time. He put his body on the line for us when we were in the Premier League. I respect it massively that what he was doing that season, because he was part of a very, very difficult season, difficult side to play in, and he sort of raised his level in that scenario.
Top player at year,
and he's made quite a few errors in possession. It's not his strength, but he always bounced back, and he always came back. And like you said, it was never the spectacular, but he made mistakes, and he never really let it dwell, did he? He never let it he never let it bother him that much. I think he just got on with it the next game, and for every mistake there'd be a 7 or a 7 out of 10, a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, whatever. But he was quite strong-minded, I thought, and you got to have respect for that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Right, let's jump into some comments and see what people are saying. So Dad starts us off. Does any of you think that this manager is capable of changing the squad to suit a system that will work? Straight in there, Daz. No messing about. Dave, straight away with the you don't believe he can.
So I think this were a large part of last week, weren't it? No, I don't think he is.
I don't think any of us do, Daz, to be honest. And that's an opinion rather than a prediction. And we hope we're wrong. But good evening, guys, says Terry. Really enjoy your contributions this year, despite the poor start. Thank you, pal. Do you think the absence of any comments regarding the new signings made by our manager, to my knowledge at least, maybe that they've been made by a third party, perhaps a decent replacement, up the blades, up the Ramble? Dave, what did you make to this? That he has not... Do you read anything into it, or do you just think it's something that's being looked at a little bit too much and maybe clutching a touch that, basically, for those that aren't aware... All the new signings that came in on deadline day, and I'm not sure whether the couple before that as well, but certainly the deadline day signings, usually in the announcement, you've got a word from the manager in terms of how this player, why you brought this player in, how they'll fit into your squad or your system, and that you're really looking forward to working with them. It's your standard lines, really. Similar stuff to what the players say in interview. Can't wait to play for such a big club. Can't wait to play at Bramall Lane. The atmosphere's always been brilliant. It's your standard stuff, but there were nothing from Ruben Selles. Nothing at all. Did that surprise you, Dave, or do you read anything into that?
They've probably they've either sent him off on a holiday after that last game, or they've said, there's enough backlash that's going off, let's just...
But even if he's not available for comment, you'd prepare something and get him to say, or just ring him and say, this is what we're going to say.
Most of these quotes that go out there are not even said by the person.
That's anyway. What I mean. That's what I mean. So the club not releasing those.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
I think it's odd.
The scenario is a bit weird.
Yeah, Paul, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, the board haven't even done an interview yet, so I think it's mirrored by the
mystery board.
Well, it is.
Is the one?
I mean, I used to say, I don't know. When I was younger and we used to go to footy, the chairman could probably walk past me in the street and I wouldn't know who he was, because it was kind of wasn't really a thing, was it? You didn't really know.
That's right.
You didn't really know who they were, and if they're, but now they almost become celebrity, don't they? Certainly in the Premier League, and most of the owners will come out and do interviews and bits and bobs. And I don't know whether it's just they don't want to. It is odd, to say the least. And I think that Sayers, it is a bit strange for me. Do
you think there's out in it, Paul?
You'd have thought they'd have done an internal interview where they're just going to ask him about the signings and what attributes they bring, and just to almost stoke the fire for the fans a little bit, just to get the fans a bit more excited about.
Or voice note me a couple of lines and we'll prepare it. It can be done in minutes.
A statement, yeah.
And it's so weird.
On the website and anything. I mean, there was a lot. He was doing it for a long time. He was talking about individually, because there was shed loads of them, weren't there? But
yeah.
And they kept them all. Kept a few of those secret as well, didn't they, Jim? They kept the.
McGuinness came out of absolute no under Mon Chapeau.
They kept a lot of them under the Mon Chapeau, didn't they? Really.
Who saw McGuinness coming? Because I certainly didn't. It were such a left field signing that.
Max and Paddy.
Aye. Sheila says, evening, Jimmy, Man Mountain and Dave the Nose. Keep reading about Roll as replacement for Sayers. Reckon the board have made a poor appointment once. Appointing Roll, I think, would be controversial. Completely agree. Dad says, if for him, it'd be Dyche. Dave Morwood says, let's stay positive or not so positive. I don't know anymore. Up all the rambles, up the blades, like and subscribe. Hype, please. Maury says, let's hope Ruben has turned these fortunes around for the greater good. Let's hope he can win us fans. Yes, at the minute, I do want him out. There's still hope he will do good. At the end of the day, he's still the Blades boss. Till he goes out the door, we've still got to have faith. Let's hope with the players he's got through the door, we can kick right on. Shaking your head there, Mountain. I can see you out at corner of the eye.
I want to answer more here because faith's great, and the right thing is to support the manager. And I've heard the drum. Support where are Sheffield United supporters? We support our players. We support our team. Blah 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 blah. All that right, great. You look at these performances, right? I have never seen the drop off from being a side that won. You know, how many games? 25, whatever we won last year. So we won all these games. We've gone from being a winning side to players actively looking like they haven't got a Scooby, what they are supposed to be doing, out of possession, in possession.
The only major downgrade is Vinny Souza, isn't it?
Yeah, but the fluidity and the lack of idea is alarming. You can't have this team and go and play matches and not get shots on target at this level. This side won all those games with one of the best sides in the division. The drop off is it's mad. It is mad how bad it is. Just because, like I said, I reckon you could just go, if you pick the right team, you go on, lads, go and express yourself. Best of luck, off you go. And they'll probably win you the game because they're just acting on their instincts and the professional, what they know what to do, the skills that they've got. It's
but I think
it's almost like by what he's asking them to do, he's actually making them worse players.
I agree.
I agree. It's baffling. I've never seen anything like it.
I have to stick up for Maury here because I agree with you, and I think he agrees with you. He's already said at the minute he says out. And what I think he's calling for, and a lot of us are having to sort of make peace with, is that we have to have blind faith at the minute that Sayers will turn it around. We don't necessarily believe it will happen, but because we support the team, we will go in on Friday night, we'll cheer him on, whether we're watching it from home or from afar or at the ground or wherever, we'll be cheering him on. We want him to win, and we want him to turn it around. Just because we don't have the faith that he can, doesn't mean that we shouldn't get behind him, and that I think was Maury's point rather than.
Yeah, I'm not digging Maury out because it's something that a lot of people say, and it is the right mindset to have, is to try, like you say, the positive. Let's go make a noise. Let's go and happen. But honestly,
I don't disagree, mate. I don't disagree.
All the years I've been watching footy, I've never seen the drop off in a team like this. The drop off is shocking. I think all of them look like worse players than they were last season. That is a problem.
Ray says, of course, we want to win at Ipswich in the home game. We all hate that losing feeling, but I can see us still in the doldrums, and we'll be calling for Ruben's head. Oh, evening, lads. Up all the rambles, all the blades, like and subscribe. J619 says, I feel if we went for Carrick, it'd be a Sayers 2.0. Need some energy and a manager. Players will run through a brick wall for. Carrick leaves Borough, and now they are first. United up the Jamie Dumpling. Oh, it's Jamie Dumpling. Oh, up the Blades Ramble. Like and subscribe. 10k before Christmas. I hope so, pal. Fingers crossed there. Yeah, Jamie. Jamie's not a fan of Michael Carrick. I think he's I'll go from meh to not bad with Carrick, and I'm somewhere in between depending on what day you ask me, to be honest. So I don't know how I feel about it today. Thoughts, lads?
Nah.
Not meh, nah. Okay.
Nah, with a meh.
Oh, meh. Okay.
Nah.
It was a very mixed bag for him, I thought. When he had Akpom and Archer, and he had
what a player. What a player, Cameron Archer.
Yeah,
how you can not get promoted with him in your side?
Yeah, he's tearing it up now.
Not given a chance. Not given a chance.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, he had him playing good footy. He had a team on form, didn't he? And
so tempted to mute you then.
But it didn't end well, did it? In the end. So again, no. You can't. I think we do that a little bit in this country, don't we? Someone gets fired and they're obviously rubbish, and there's no coming back. And I think he wouldn't be my choice. He wouldn't be in my top 5. I don't think.
Okay. Kev says, "Hi guys, hope you're all well. I will give him 3 games, 7 points, or he's gone. Up the blades, up the ramble. Like and subscribe. If he doesn't beat Ipswich, lads, is he gone? Or if he loses at Ipswich, is he gone?"
Well, if that's your logic, it's rubbish, because if you're going to sack
why
him,
give him Ipswich, one of the hardest games in the league?
Yeah, if you're going to sack him for losing at Ipswich, you should have sacked him 2 weeks ago, because it's not a game that you'd say, "Oh, we're expecting to win this with the team we've got." It's not. It's one of those games that's this season where we wouldn't be going in as favourites, even if we won. If we won the first 4 games, we wouldn't. We'd probably go in with a good chance, but we wouldn't be favourites necessarily, because I think Ipswich have got outstanding players at this level. So I think that'd be ridiculous logic. I think the Charlton game is the most important, because I believe that whatever happens with Ipswich, and we're still hopeful. It's hard to see it based on the way that we're playing. We've certainly got the team personnel to go and get a result anywhere in this division. That's a fact for me.
We have. Completely agree.
On paper, with the backup that we've got now coming off the bench, is good enough to go anywhere in this division and steal 3 points and dominate a game. But the way we're playing, come along, no chance. I think if we lose to Charlton, I think there's literally no way that he can't get sacked. Personally, I don't see. If we lose at home to them, that is it, as far as I'm concerned. But he's got to go by that.
Dave, is he dug out for Charlton?
Yeah, I think they'll probably give him till the next international window.
Really?
Unless we continue. Well, there's no improvement at all. I think because why not just do it now?
Paul Rose of Wellstone Landscapes, who will be at my house tomorrow, says, "Evening, lads. Actually excited for us to get going again and see if the team can start to show what it's capable of." Oh, I hope you're right, mate. Mark Meldrew says, "I'll only get excited when we get rid of the manager. All we know is defeat. We all know defeat at Ipswich is coming when he picks O'Hare, Hamer and Peck as a 3.
If he does that again, oh God, he can't do that again.
It's a big test here for it. Well, obviously, it's a huge test for him now. He's got the new players, but
he can, and I won't put it past him either. He's done it. We all knew what was wrong. We all knew, and he did it again, mate.
It's got to be Matos for at least. Well, it's got to be Matos, hasn't it? It's got to be Matos in for Peck, surely. I would have said, or you take O'Hare out and you have Peck and Matos and Hamer in the 10. I mean, that's what we do, but I think it's less likely that he does that. I
don't think you can play Hamer and O'Hare in the same midfield with just one holding midfielder. I think you need 2.
You can't.
So if he does, he don't get out into the dugout for Ipswich, let alone Charlton. You cannot look at what's happened and go, do you know what? That's not the problem. Can't do it.
Stay sat there, Jibril. I don't think you're the thing we need right now.
Yeah. I know I signed you. I know I said to you I signed you. And you'd be, exactly what we need.
Tyler Binden, don't you be warming up. You're not needed either. You sit back down, son. What's this about? What's going on?
Don't worry about Femi. Femi, you stay sat down. Ryan, you're coming.
Ryan, Ole, come here. I need a right wing back. Femi, sit down. Sit down, Fem. Yeah. Abbas says the only reason to be optimistic is that Sausage Roll isn't lined up to replace Ruben. Abbas, ITK. Abbas, love that. Thank you, pal. Ryan says the Ramble only positive this season. We'll try, mate. We'll try. We'll just be honest with you, to be honest. Chef Jim says, up the blades, Ramble. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Brett, positive. Keith says, evening, lads. Let's be positive and hope the extra players and the time off has allowed Sayers' system to improve. I'm not convinced at the minute, but he's the Blades manager and we all want wins. Up all the Rambles. Thank you, pal. Brett says, you don't want Carrick. Each season at Borough, he went backwards. But didn't he have a weaker squad season upon season? Didn't they pilfer every time they failed to get promoted? I'm sure they lost a gem out of that side. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they did. They lost Akpom, they lost Archer. Who else have they lost? They've definitely lost players throughout the time. Anyway, whatever. I can't go down the Borough's lost players, but I think he's been hampered. I don't think he was that well backed, if I'm honest. I might have got that completely wrong. Great Bant says, the best player on the pitch is always the 12th man. Us fans, I hate what's happening right now too. But let's produce a man-of-the-match performance to give the other 11 the very best chance. Love that.
Agree, but the players have got to give us something to shout about as well. We've got to see something from these players. like Roy Keane says, just to make myself feel better, just smash into somebody. Do you know what I mean? Just to make myself feel better.
Just to make myself feel better.
There he goes again, Jim. Honestly, give that a miss. Right, so yeah.
Oh, someone's got to keep me amused. It's not the football, is it? Christ.
Mate, that's all we want. All we want is to see. They've all got a lot more to give, as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes, again, putting in a few tackles. I know City does it a bit, but just being more competitive and just being harder to beat and not such a soft touch. I think that'd make a massive difference to us. I think we'll get there. I think the thing I like the most is I feel like we've signed some leaders. I think McGuinness is a leader for only being 24 years old. He looks like he's got leadership qualities. Certainly Ben Miaz, Tanganga led by example. Obviously, you got Ogbeni out there, who I think personality-wise is an absolute breath of fresh air. What a guy! Again, 20 good minutes to listen to him speak. He's absolutely superb.
All right then, quick game of true or false. Mark McGuinness starts on Friday night.
True.
Dave?
True.
Alex Matos starts on Friday night.
False.
Unfortunately, false.
Andre Brooks starts on Friday night.
False.
Oh, we've got a bit of a difference there.
No,
Kaki can't play. Not Kaki. Benny can't play, can he?
Nope.
Oh God, you're right, aren't you, Dave? Oh,
He ain't gonna play Kukaki. So unless he's gonna stick Sam McCallum out there, he could stick Adam Davis out there.
Fax had not made his professional debut yet, so that could happen.
Yeah, Paul, how are your boots? Have you got suitable boots? You might be playing there. Anyone?
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I played the other night as well. Right back.
Okay, one more then. Hamer and O'Hare start in the same side.
True.
Again, I like them both, and I'm not digging O'Hare out. It's true, but it shouldn't be true. Not in this system. Not unless they're part of the three at the top. Should them two be on at the same time?
Okay. Doug says, evening guys, I don't want Carrick or Roll. I think they have to push the boat out and get Cooper for me. What do you guys think? Up all the rambles, up the blades. I think we touched on this a lot last week, Doug, to be honest, and Dave's briefly mentioned it tonight. I think it's more a case of who's willing to come. And I'm not saying we can't get Steve Cooper, because we may well be able to. But I think it's a push to get Steve Cooper. I think it's a big push to get Sean Dyche. I think we'll be more likely linked with head coaches such as Michael Carrick, Gary O'Neill, potentially again another one.
Take O'Neill over Carrick personally.
Yeah, I think I would. And obviously the latest one is Danny Rowe. So yes, we would. He's higher in our pecking order, Doug, like yourself there. But it's a case of whether he come or not, and that's a whole other conversation in itself.
Cooper.
Ben says, evening, Jimmy. New to the Blades Ramble as of this pre-season. Well, welcome, pal. Thank you for your support. Absolutely love the shows, content, debates, and insight into our club. Keep up the amazing work. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Hype, and like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. What a lovely comment. Ben. Appreciate that. Ben. And welcome, Ben. John says, evening, lads. Looking forward to Friday. Need a result. No excuses with the squad we have. I think we win 0-1. Ings, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. Lads, I know we've touched on it before. I want to know what your thoughts are at the moment. Dave, I'll start with you. Can Danny Ings force his way into this side as our starting striker?
Absolutely.
Do you think
he's got all the pedigree? I think it's down to whether we could. I mean, if we feed him and he scores goals, he plays. I think that's what happened with Ty Campbell, isn't it? He scored goals, he plays. So,
but he's got to get onto the pitch and make that immediate impact, and because he's going to have limited minutes to start with Ty Campbell holding the shirt. So he's got to hit the ground running, and I think he made a decent start at Borough, didn't he? He looked lively.
Yeah, but at the same time, just because of how good a season Ty had last season, if he's not doing the right things or enough of the right things, does he keep the shirt anyway, or just because it's not just about looking backwards or even just looking at who's on the score sheet, you've got to be doing all the rest of the stuff. So I don't think it's a given that Campbell keeps the shirt.
No, Danny Ings doesn't sign for us on that basis. Danny Ings is here to play, 100%. He wouldn't sign the contract. He wouldn't come to the Championship to play second fiddle. He's there, and he's even said it to compete for that number 9 shirt. I'd love to see both of them personally. I've said it before. I'd love to see both of them all at the same time. But if Danny Ings starts, I mean, if Danny Ings, let's put it this, like, we haven't had someone of his caliber, I'd say, since BT. In terms of he played in the Premier League.
Billy Sharp.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the actual caliber he got?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He had a 22 goal season in the Premier League. We haven't had a striker who's done anything like that at the club since BT.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. BT, what a player he was for us. Unbelievable.
Not Craig.
You are?
Not Craig.
Not Craig. Yeah, let's just clarify. James, not Craig. Do you feel the same with Ben Mee, that Ben Mee will force his way into the side?
Not necessarily.
No.
Really?
No, not necessarily.
Do you think the McGuinness one has really muddied the waters with that one then, do you think?
I think the way I see Ben Mee is, I think it's unparalleled again experience. I think
leadership.
With McGuinness signing, without McGuinness, I'd have said yes. But with McGuinness and Tanganga, if he plays a 2 and then the 2 fullbacks as we think he will, I don't see Ben Mee breaking in as a starter. I think he'll start some games, and I think he'll be used off the bench to see out results and possibly be used as a left back when we're trying to see out matches as well, because I think he offers us more, obviously, protection than a Burrows would if you're hanging on for a result. I think he'll get used like that, and having that know-how and experience, and I think that's how he's going to get used for us at his age as well. I think he's probably ready for that. You know, he wasn't getting any minutes at his last club, so I think that's where I will be used this season. I don't see him being a regular starter, certainly not with McGuinness signing, because I think he's a good player at this level, McGuinness, from what I've read and seen.
Yeah, okay, happy with that. Super Chat Blade says, hi Jimmy, rumblings about Danny Roll if Sayers goes, and he's apparently not against the idea. He's not against the idea from what I understand, pal. Louis says, I have optimism for... Hang on, it's flipped upside down, pal. A bit like you, Lewis, to be fair, when you're on stream. Evening 3MB, Jimmy looked like The Rock at the start with the mic check pose. What? First time anyone's ever said that to me, pal. Reasons to be optimistic. They've had 2 weeks to get the paper towel dispensers back on John Street. Only cause I have for optimism is motivation. Ruben will need it if he's to keep his job much longer. Plays through the door and needs a win like the Pigs need a credit note. Hi, boys. Do you think Roll is a possibility? Yes, I do think he's a possibility. Scott says, Rob Staten coming out and saying Roll is out of the running means there isn't many names available that improve us. Carrick, Jose Mourinho. There's some names that... Scott, my mother-in-law improves us at minute. Let's be honest. Come on.
You have more chance of getting your mother-in-law than Jose Mourinho as well.
That's true. That's true as well.
Scott, come on, Jose.
I know. I think it's largely tongue-in-cheek, to be honest. Michael says Leicester City is rumoured that they'll be docked 9 points. It's a question of when the EFL decide to take action. Leicester and Sheff Wednesday will likely be docked points, I would have thought. So if that's all we're hoping for to get above the Owls, then we are really struggling out with it.
Need one more and then we'll not get relegated. Come on.
Genuinely Felix, Mark Meldrew, Mr. Positive as always, sticking to his name here. Genuinely Felix, blind optimism while Selles is in charge. We could have CR7 up top and we'd struggle. I believe...
Play him at right back.
Alan Nixon said that Roll was of interest, and Rob Staten's come out and said that Roll, you can forget the rumour in itself, kill it dead sort of thing. Vito says, hi guys from an Italian Blade. Keep it up guys and always up the blades. Love that, Vito. It's a comment I couldn't refuse. Love that. Thank you. Kev saw that as well. He'll be gone by Saturday. Me'll be player manager. Got his coaching badges. Kev, don't say that. Don't say that. We haven't brought Ben Mee in to be new manager. If we appoint Roll, I'm going to eat my copy of Sheffield United club manager, says Fu Manchu. Jimmy says, Jimmy says, we don't know if player power may come into it if he's lost the dressing room. I don't believe he's lost the dressing room. I just don't think they know what he wants them to do, if I'm honest. James says, evening lads, how many games are we saying before we have a change? How many games do you reckon, boys? Dave, you said right up to international break, hadn't you?
I wouldn't be surprised unless it carries on as badly as it has done.
And Paul, you sort of alluded to 2 more dodgy results.
If we don't beat Charlton at home, mate, he's got. I think he'll get the bullet after that.
What if we beat Ipswich and lose to Charlton?
Yeah, I think he'll go.
Yeah,
he'll be shoes off in the car park, mate.
It will. The silence from the club is the most worrying aspect. Well, no, I don't think so, Brett. I don't know what you'd expect him to do. If they come out and say something, it's the dreaded vote of confidence, and that means he's got one foot out the door anyway. And it's him not saying anything for the signings that's weird. That was just a bit of a strange thing that always happens. You read any club that signed a player on deadline day, I bet you can find a manager's comment in the majority of them. And we made 4 and didn't have a word from him. Window was a 6 out of 10 for me, says Bean. I hope when Betis gets interviewed, he gets asked why all of a sudden we went from no winning to loads in the space of a week. Feel like we've gone for quantity over quality. Lads, talk to me about this. We had a very busy deadline day. Did we go for quantity over quality with the transfer window? I think we may have ended up with an element of that with quantity. I think players like Tyler Binden and players like, Nils Zetterstrom would be harsh, but Binden is the primary example, got superseded within the same transfer window. So I think the strategy has been off completely. And that's resulted in quantity over quality. But I think the players we brought in towards the end were better than what we already had. So it's a difficult one to argue. So, Dave, you were nodding. So if you agree with me, you can speak first.
No, I think that they realise. I think my feeling is that they had a strategy worked out that it wasn't working. The high ceiling players and what we'd got already wasn't enough. And then they've panic bought to some degree. I think that there's some good signings in there that could do really well. So, yes, I can see how you'd panic and say quantity over quality. I mean, you look at Danny Ings. I know he's not played a lot of football, but his CV speaks for itself.
Tanganga's certainly quality.
Tanganga's absolute quality. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think it's quantity over quality, but I can see how it appears like that. The Binden ones are, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the contract that he goes back in January.
Well, Beans, sorry, Paul, I'll come to you in a minute, mate, but Beans continued, and I didn't realise. He says, only Tanganga for me is classed as a great signing. The large majority of depth options, still not not got a natural right back. I push back on that a little bit. And to me, we haven't strengthened centre midfield enough. We need a proven 6 rather than potential.
Who was the proven 6 that we could have got? Because I know we obviously were looking
Ben Sheaf.
Okay, that's fair. So we know we looked at Billing, and Billing went, no chance.
Jimmy smokes.
But no, that's fair.
Done.
It were an obvious one, weren't it, though, that Wrexham came in and nabbed, and you think...
But again...
I think that's a fair argument. I think it's fair. Because, but also we don't know what we've got, do we? Because I think Samari and Matos are a bit of a mystery to everybody at the moment. So I think we have to suck it and see with them a little bit. They're not proven, that's for sure. I would have liked somebody who's clearly top end at the level in that position, and we haven't got that. So that's fair enough. I think Benny certainly improves us quite a lot, really. I think if Danny Ings can hit the ground running, we could have an absolute diamond on our hands there. Tanganga's arguably the best defender in the division, and then we've supplemented it with some squad players who are in and around that. So I'd probably give it more than a 6. I'd say it's probably a 7 for me, based on.
You don't know yet. We don't know yet, do we? We had a great January, and then it turns out that you look back on it and think it wasn't as good as we thought.
And the January was really proven players as well, or previously proven.
Yeah,
so I think that there is proven players in the mix that we have signed, but I just feel like I think the ambition of the board's been that I'm giving it 7 for that, and it's the timing that's annoyed me, because I think a lot of these deals could have been done well in advance of when they were done. I don't understand how these deals can drag on to the the final day.
It's a complete 180 to what we originally intended to do, because you look at some of the signings that we missed. The obvious ones to go back to are players like Jimmy Dunn for a right back spot. We've now had to bring in Ben Godfrey on between 60 and 80 grand a week, depending on what you believe. I think Jimmy Dunn would have done a really solid job there. You may agree or not, maybe not. Ben Godfrey's probably a slightly better player, I would like to think. But you can't tell me there's a lot of difference between like Harry Darling and Mark McGuinness. I don't think there's a huge gulf in there in terms of what we could have had Harry Darling on a free. We're all sort of teed up as well in terms of it's certainly a doable deal. I think we slept early on some of these more straightforward deals, and I know that these particular players won't have been available until later in the window, but there were alternative options of a similar level that were available earlier on, and we chose not to go for them because we wanted to adopt. We were going to be cleverer than everybody else, and we were going to pick out these gems that nobody else was spotting, and then we end up selling one at gems from previous January to free up a spot to bring in another gem that's not going to play for us for another 6 to 12 months. It's been completely backwards, if we're honest, and I'm more relieved that they've reacted. I'm more relieved that they've reacted to it.
That's good that they've reacted as well.
It is. Even though it's an admission of failure to a degree, but who cares? It's a case of we've made an error here. I was once told by a boss at work, you can never compound an error with another error. Don't try and keep making the same mistake again and try and get yourself out of it. You've got to recognise the mistake and fix it, and that is the way you get out of your hole, and that's what they've done really. So they have backed the manager now with players of quality at this level, and Bean's right, the depth has risen as well. So when Ty Campbell's knackered on 60 minutes, we've got Danny Ings ready to come on. When Louis Barry's knackered on 65 minutes, Chong can come on, and he might not be as good or as highly rated, but it's not bringing on an Owen Hampson, and that's no offence to Owen Hampson, but these were players that we were looking like we were going to have to be padding out as bench. Or even Louis Marsh, who we all really like and want to have a really bright future at the Lane. He's not ready to come on and be that replacement number 10, or even that replacement centre midfield where we were playing in pre-season. So I'm pleased that they've rectified the issue.
And I think that it's better than getting a load of false results at the start and then struggling for the entire season because you didn't bring enough in when you needed to. And that's the one thing you can give them credit for, is they have reacted to a situation. And for me as a supporter, I believe that we can improve quite a lot based on some of the signings that they have managed to get over the line in the last couple of days. As much as we think it was a bad strategy, they have actually reacted, and they have done the business that has given us a little bit of hope in terms of resurrecting our season.
And that's one of the main reasons for optimism that started off with, because I think they've saved our window really in terms of course correction. I'm all right with it. It's it's good. Rowley Sayers, with less experience as Cooler King, both known for keeping struggling sides up, not known for much beyond that. The job is to turn around a struggling team into promotion candidates, which neither has done. Me and Dave nodding. I can feel Paul biting his lip a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because the one thing that we're accusing Sayers of right now is that he can't set a team up. He can't set his team up. He can't see the problems. But he was getting really good results against the top sides in the division for Hull last year, setting his side up to counter the threats that they've got. And then obviously they came to Ramble Lane and did a really good a number on us, and they did really well against Leeds United and other the top sides in the division that season. And it's just a bit odd to me that he can't set his team up to be competitive. It's with the players that he's got, and I mean now he's got more. And I think that's why I give the window a 7, is because if you look through that team now, based on this window, so you got Louis Barry who's the starter, you got Benny who's a starter, you've got Ings who's a potential starter, you got Tanganga who's the first name on the sheet next to Michael Cooper, you've got options at centre half, you got Godfrey at right back, you've got Matos and Samari we're still waiting to see in there. So you're talking over half the team has been brought in this window, the starting 11 in our eyes, and for that you've got to say that's a good transfer window, because we could be sat on our hands here with. Imagine if we hadn't made the signings that we made in the last 2 or 3 days, we'd be sat here going, "Season's done. We're done."
Yeah.
Because we're not getting out of this with the players that we had, or certainly with Ruben at the wheel. With these players, it's not worked, has it? So,
I'm going to burn through some of these comments now because we don't want to be on too late tonight. We have started later than usual and don't want to keep going for too long. But Paul says, "Sig mate, you what?
Lightweight telling me to shut up."
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Paul, shut up.
Okay.
Paul says, "I've heard from someone close to Shirecliffe that Sayers is not." Oh, hang on. I've heard that Sayers has not been taking training. Says Paul. All right, okay. Don't know. I've not heard that at all, to be honest. But Paul says, "Don't think Bindon will get much game time. Now we have some proper centre backs. Never thought it was the Championship level. Up the blades, up the room." I have to say, I've been quite disappointed in Bindon's performances. I don't fully blame him. I don't think he's always been alongside the strongest centre halves, but I thought he looked weak against Borough again, and I'm running out of excuses to give him. Really, he's a young lad, and to be honest, I think it's hypocritical of me to say we need to give him time. I don't think he'll get that time now, to be honest, because I think we've overly strengthened in that department. So he won't need to be that experiment anymore. But I would have been calling for time with Bindon and see how he gets on with a better centre half alongside him. And I think that's slightly hypocritical because 5 games in, I'm calling for manager's head. So, that would have been my genuine sort of way of putting it. But to be fair, manager just doesn't appear to know what to do. And that's the reason a lot of us are sort of calling so early. Chris says, "Don't you think it's strange that Sayers hasn't commented on the signings?" Yes, we do. Ally says, "Been told he's not interested. I've chatted with Jimmy before about my contact in his camp, but feel free to take it or leave it." I've been told he's not interested. I've chatted with Jimmy before about my contact in whose camp, Ally? Sorry, we've moved the conversation on since then. That was 45 minutes ago.
I think he means Danny Roll.
All right, okay. I've been told he's not interested. All right, okay. I chatted with Jimmy before about my contact in his camp, but feel free to take it or leave it. Okay, pal. No worries. That's fair dues. Why is he still here? Ruben says Romeo. Romeo's done, by the sound of it. Goonie says there's no goal scorers, so we're going nowhere. Lee says go on the mountain supporting the non-iron lads. Absolutely. You've got to do it tonight with Oppo. Riff says must be the only fool still pulling for Sayers. If there's internal disciplinary issues with Samari, I can understand him sticking to his guns and not folding and playing him out of desperation. Hang on. Where's that come from? If there are, is that wild speculation from you, Riff? We don't know about what's gone on with Samari. It could be anything. Just don't fancy him in training. I have not heard that, Riff, anyway. If that's what you've heard, pal, let us know. I don't think you're the only one pulling for him. You might be the only one believing in him. But I think we're all pulling for him because we all want United to do well. But I can't see. I'm with lads, and I know Paul said similar. That it's hard to believe that he can turn this around, but we all want him to. Rightly so. On the poll with Roll, I'd take Ronald McDonald right now. Danny Roll, 227 votes. He's only got 54%, so it's a close knit thing. That shows, I think, how split it's only obviously a very small sample size, but how split the fan base would be on that appointment. Lewis says Bobar, the technical term for not very good. Correct. Big Mally says good luck, lads. Something has got to change. Bry says give the stream a quick like, please, folks. Forget the rest, you with the best. What, Bry? We need to work on some of these sayings, but yeah, I love it. Thank you, pal. Luke says
you, Jim. Work on the sayings. I love it. Oh, I don't.
What do you mean from me? Jim. What do you mean? Unbelievable, you. Luke says the manager can't see you could park a Concorde between the manager can't see you could park a Concorde between the defence and midfield. Yeah. Do we believe that these incomings were on Wilder's to get list? That has been a widely held rumour. Dave's shaking his head straight away. Go on, mate. I'll let you.
I mean, someone like Tanganga, you've got to expect that he's probably been on most of the Championship managers I'd like him list. So I don't think Wilder went out and gave them a list of every player he wanted, and there was no input from the scouts and all that kind of thing. So there probably were players considered before, but
it's the recruitment team that Wilder appointed.
Yeah.
So they may have very similar. They've certainly got similar contacts. They've got similar sort of approaches, I would assume. It's Jamie Hoyland, ex-Blade, Mikey Allen, who Wilder's worked with at not just Sheffield United. I think you were at Watford with him as well. So there's history there of working with Chris Wilder. So there will likely be a template of what they look for in a player. So they're certainly Wilder-esque signings, Sheila, and there will have no doubt been discussions with Chris Wilder about some of these players when Wilder thought he was going to be the man to sort of continue his rebuild of Sheffield United, and obviously that's not been the case. Let's have a look. Terry says, every Blade knew the squad looked light before the first game. We needed the new players in earlier to fill the gaps left after the exits from last season. I think that's fair. Avril says, can we all give him a chance if they're off on international break? Please, we all know the squad now. Transfer windows closed, and yeah, loads of new signings. Blades way, right? That is one of the most Yorkshire comments I've ever read, Avril. But fair play to you. And yeah, absolutely right. Of course, we'll give him a chance. Nobody's turning their back on Sheffield United. It's just we're doubting whether the current manager is the man that's going to be able to turn it round. We hope he is. We doubt he is. But we'll be supporting him anyway. I think that's probably the best way to sort of get it in a little nutshell, if you like. Chris says, evening, Jim, just back from sunny Mallorca. I think we now have a decent team, but not a decent manager. I feel for him, I really do, but the players are also accountable as professionals. Top tip, don't do this to me.
Don't do this to me. There we go.
He's not commented again. Top tip is don't put too long a comment in the comment section because you won't get all your words in. Pan from RSA says, can't agree there has been a big drop-off. We played rubbish most games last season, but burgled results because opponents missed their chances. Our points total flattered us. I don't feel like I need to take the mantle with this one. Dave, Paul, do you want to take it?
We weren't great at times last season, but there is a noticeable drop-off in how rubbish we are this season.
You can't fluke your way to 92 points, can you? Oh, Paul?
No. But again, I don't fully agree. But I see what's being said. Yeah, obviously we had a good goalkeeper and a good defence, I thought, last season, and again, if you can, I thought
first half of last season
there were quite a lot of games, Jimmy. Hands up here. There were quite a lot of games.
I'm not disputing that at all. Where we edged a 50-50 game.
Yeah, and what I'd say to that is we were tight and we were quite mean in defence. I know we weren't Burnley, but we were pretty solid, weren't we? Basically, and that gives you a platform in any game. We won many points by playing well for about 15 minutes in a match.
All right, so let me push back on that to you then. If that is a criticism of either tactics or setup or whatever it is, whatever you lose in that element, do you not gain in character by being able to nudge in front and then hold a lead as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, you can't get 92 points fluking it every week. It doesn't work like that. But I think that because we were drilled into a system where we were in the game, so we weren't conceding many soft goals, and Michael Cooper was obviously a big part of that as well. I think now it's a lot worse than it was. I have to say that. I have to say that when I look around the team, and again, I've said this a few times now, so I don't want to be a broken record. There's nobody at this point who I think is playing well in this system for this manager, and that is a struggle for me to get my head around in terms of all the players who played well last year. So you could argue Campbell was good last year. You could definitely say Heyman was good last year. Vinny was good last year. Peck was very good last year. We had Cooper was fantastic.
Yeah, he was.
They are not anywhere near in this system where the types of performances that they were producing at times last season. That for me is my biggest problem. None of them are even par. And I've said it before.
Even Cooper, players like Cooper, who were the most steady pair of hands last season.
So I can see where that comes from, Pan. I get what you're saying with regard to the performances. I agree. In certain games, I think we played well for 15, 20, half an hour maybe, and I did enough to win. But it's because we were quite compact and quite solid, and we didn't concede too many soft goals. It was what I thought was the basis for our success last season. And obviously Hamer gives you that X factor. And again, I said this last year as well. I do think last season was because Hamer, it all panned around him. I think if he's not in the side last season, we are nowhere near it, where we got to. So I think then that's dangerous as well because he's one player, isn't he? But yeah, I get what you're saying, but none of them are on par. None of them are anywhere near where they were last year. For me.
That's fair. Statman Jack says, nobody has even seen him since Borough. Might already be gone, lads. Who knows till we see him up the blades, up the ramp. I'm pretty sure we'd have heard, pal. I know what you're saying, but yeah, it's pretty hard to keep those sort of things quiet, I think. Phil says, hello, Jimmy, Dave and Paul. I would play 3 centre-halves against Ipswich. Sariki and Burrows as wing-backs. Ben Mee would be the captain. A point there would be a start up the Ramble. Now, I know we've talked about this again. I think this were a big topic last week when we were looking at who were coming in. Obviously, since then, we've strengthened significantly at centre-back. But we've also brought in Ogbenny, who was a winger. We'd already brought in Barry, who was a winger. Do we think, my question to you, lads, and I'll start with Dave, is do you think there's any chance he changes from the 4 at the back against Ipswich?
You're not going to like me here because I'm going to be very short with my answer, and I'm going to try and recreate my favourite GIF in the world, which is Alan Partridge when he's sat in a cafe and he just goes... I can't answer it, and I'm being grumpy. I can't answer it any other way. Do I think there's a chance? Yeah, there's a chance. Do I think he will? Who knows? Who knows what the guy's thinking?
I think he'll just be throwing mud at the wall.
You would have to argue that the signings and the volume of centre backs that have been acquired would push towards a 3.
Yeah, you probably would, and then we've signed wingers. So
yeah,
but I think they're options, aren't they? When you play a system, I think that you've got an option to change things up a little bit. So for me, it could be that some games. So if we did, so I've been championing this a bit recently, Anna. The 3-4-3.
Oh yeah, the mountains special Christmas tree.
Yeah, the weird Christmas tree. So 3-4-3 with the 2 wide men. I think that Ogbenny can do the job on the right of that 4 person because he's played there and he's quite versatile in that as well. So I think that he fits in with that. It certainly gets the best out of Burrows. It brings Sariki into play. McCallum becomes more attractive because I can see him playing there and doing a decent job there. And then your 3 at the top is where I think what we've got, personally, what I'd be doing to start off with is playing Hamer, Campbell, Hamer in the 10, Campbell and Ings would be my choice. But with Ogbenny and with what's his name? Barry. I think he's an option to go to a 3 across the top because I think Ogbenny can also play as on the right of a 3.
Like a right forward.
As a left foot. So you can change it to having 1 and 2, or you can go 3 across the top.
I know we like that. I know we like that.
2 and 1 with Cal O'Hare and Hamer in there, and then someone at the top of the tree. But it gives us options, I think. And I think with the volume of signings that we've had, it could be a 3. They bought players for it. That's for sure.
It does give us an option of a 3, and I know we can put Ogbenny in the right wing back if we want to as well, and things like that. But do you think he will? Do you think he will against Ipswich? Do you think he'll go to a 3 at the back?
I just don't see why he'd sign all these centre halves. I just don't.
So you think he might? Well, Ogbenny can't play for one, and we're sort of wincing, or you winced, Paul, when I said Andre Brooks starts, true or false. You were like, no, he can't. Obviously, not forgetting for a second that Ogbenny can't. But if that's Ogbenny, who's a starting winger ruled out of the 11 for Ipswich on Friday, you're only sacrificing Louis Barry, really, then, aren't you, for the 3 at the back system? So, and that might be something, and you can still change it mid-game. You can still switch to a 4 if it's not going your way. I think there's half a chance, because Ogbenny's ruled out as well, that we might go 3 at the back and not have wingers to start with against Ipswich. And we'll just wait and see whether that might do a 3-4-3.
I think Burrows and Femi are way better in that kind of system, personally. I think
I agree. Yeah, absolutely right.
They're way better in that, and they fit in there. Femi's a weapon on that right hand side. If he hasn't got to do all the stuff, if Godfrey's behind him, Femi's he's really Femi and Ogbenny on the right. I tell you, it's
frightening, isn't it?
Just sling it over the defenders' heads and just watch them go. Bang. See you later.
David Vinter says, I'd start me as captain. We need organisation at the back, start Ings, and we'll all be backing the lads loud and proud Friday. Optimistic. Up the blades, up all that. It's mad what they do to you, isn't it? It's mad how they turn you around from 5 losses on spin. David Vinter's optimistic. I love it. We need. It's crazy, isn't it?
We might have 4 debuts, 3 or 4 debuts. So.
It's brilliant. Ogbenny's a great signing. Pity he can't play Friday night, says Andy. Yes, it is, mate. John says, 100% agree with Paul. Likening Ings to beat it. Ings has pedigree, and once he scores, he'll continue scoring. Get the ball to Ings, and it's in the back of the net. Tom says, evening, gents. To me, it looks like players are clueless more than anything, but would definitely take Sausage as our gaffer. And yes, I'll be singing Sausage Roll. I think if that ever did happen, it would certainly be an ironic chant that we would give to him, wouldn't it? I think that would still echo around Bramall Lane, but more as an affectionate call, a sarcastic tone to ourselves. Lewis with the £5 super chat. Thank you, pal. One of our Platinum Ramblers says, here's one for the gallows humour. Nearly spilled my cuppa at the McCallum or Davis on the right wing comments. Great 3MB, lads. Thank you, mate. Very much appreciated. Matt says, still not moved the fallen poster, Mr. Mountain. Oh, yeah.
He hasn't.
He hasn't moved it. Look at that.
It was a big moment.
What a spot from Matt. Yes, I hadn't noticed that.
If it's
that's epic.
I need to get some like new. I've got some, like, strips that I was going to use for it. The blue tack's giving in.
I can't believe he spotted that. That is absolute.
Well, it's something like we're on 3MB last week when it fell, weren't we? It was something like we're just waiting for the right deal to drop, and then it went. It was something like that, weren't it?
Matt, how big did you tell her that you managed to spot that? Because
yeah, it's a good spot. It's a good spot.
Cinema or something. It's.
And I need to get some new stuff to stick it up, man, lads.
No, just leave it.
Give it up as a bad job. Yeah, well, it's like Ruben's contract. It needs to go in the bin, maybe.
Elaine reckons we need Sean Dice. Yeah, snake eyes. John reckons Phil Sayers has been let down massively. Foreign managers don't do it for me. The board have made woeful decisions up the blades. Scott says, Benny played right wing back for Ipswich and Chong has played centre midfield, attacking midfield, so not out and out wingers. Barry is though, isn't he? Barry's they've all played different positions. Let's be right. Andre Brooks, you could say, is a centre midfielder, but I think that if you look at where they've played predominantly in seasons gone by, that will be the positions that they have likely, and this could certainly be expected to do a job there if we wanted them to. Like, share, subscribe, please, folks. Let's hit that 10k, says Bright. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that as always. And Gary says, hi, Jimmy. I keep hearing about this system he's playing. Can't any of you three tell me what it is at the minute? I'm glad we're away next. He could have gone before. I'm back at beautiful downtown Ramble Lane. Dave, do you want to do your Alan Partridge gift right now? Yeah. What is the system, Paul? Yeah. We don't know, do we? We don't know. Some are telling me it's 4-3-3. I see a 4-2-3-1 still a lot of the time. I think he switches in and out of possession. But the system, that's the formation. The system, no idea. Absolutely no idea. Because the players don't look like they've a clue either. You can't see any patterns of play. You can't see any plan when we're in possession. It will go down in Ruben Selles' folklore when he leaves this club, the Tyler Binden moment when he stood on the ball for 30 seconds during the game, waiting to be closed down when we are supposed to be doing high press, vertical, attacking football, and we stood on the ball on the edge of our 18-yard box, not knowing what to do with it. Didn't know where to go or how to play. Absolutely incredible.
Do you not think it's clearly a case of like it's just trying to make it way too complicated?
Yes, I do. It's a simple game, isn't it? It's a simple game.
Yeah, get the ball to your best player's feet in the right areas of the pitch is a mantra that I'll always live by when it comes to football and picking things. You need Gus in between the defenders and the midfielders, and you need to get him on the half turn in that area. That's where we're going to do his damage. And if the wide men have got the pace that we think they have,
honestly, I mean, you listen to some of these podcasts with like Mark Crossley and all these like ex-Forest legends who all talk about Cloughie. He basically said, go out and play and do what I brought you in to do. Didn't complicate it at all. And look, that's one extreme way of management, and that's working with top-level players. I understand that. Neil Warnock famously had Taarabt at QPR, didn't tell him what to do, just said, if you come into our half of the field, I'm going to fine you. And the rest of the team was told, pass the ball to him. That was the strategy. It doesn't have to be complicated. I just think there were way too many. This is your percentage of the pitch. You turn in the half space. You lay it off to him, and then we do the low block, and then I know, mate. It's
where word does that even mean? I know what it means, but
Dave, if you're going to have the single double pivot, you've got to.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. It's.
Well, as long as we're getting the right penetration when we're in the transition, then I'm not really bothered about what we do.
Well, there you go.
I mean, what a load of absolute nonsense. Vertical. I've never even heard of vertical football until this season.
Because it's not a thing, Dave. It's not a thing.
It's just something that somebody's made up to sound clever, and it's making me really mad.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what we should be playing? Horizontal football and getting it the other way, away from our net.
Put the ball in the other net and stop it going in our one. And
Horizontal. If we play left to right, get it right.
Dave, that was ace. That's the best thing. Your face was like, oh my god! Who's he remind me of? What's his name? Napoleon Dynamite. He reminded me of him for a second.
Oh wow!
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Very kind of you.
No worries. But seriously though, it's like whenever I watch, when they do the breakdown on Match of the Day or on Sky Sports, and you're watching it, it's nearly always the same thing. Like successful teams run a lot, but and it's all about when the ball goes wide. You run into the box and you get, like you say, teams that do well, they have 7 players running back on recovery runs. And they seem to have 7 or 8 players running towards the box when they've got an opportunity to.
And when you're defending, run back and get the ball back. We didn't do that against Bury either, did we?
Why are we making it hard work?
Well, we are guilty as well. We subscribe to this, like Roy Keane says, when he played with Mickey Butt or when they took it in turns to go forward. Everybody did everything. We're obsessed nowadays. Is he a CDM? Is he a box to box? Is he a 6, 8, 10? Is he a cam? Is he this? Is he that? And when you just go, well, can't you just be a midfielder? Can't you just be Michael Brown and tackle people, pass the ball?
Not many Michael Browns about, though, are there?
Well, I know, but he's probably the most complete midfielder we've ever had. Let's have it right.
Yeah, he is.
And
I'd agree with that.
Who does everything. So we've had players who are good at defending, Monty, for example.
And I still agree with the balance. I know you're right in the nuances that you say, but you should still have somebody who can win the ball in the centre of the park. And we haven't got that at the moment. Other than hopefully Matos is that man, or Samare, whoever it might be. I think you need that balance. We can't play Gus and Peck in the middle as a 2. We know that, but I know the principle of what you're saying is right.
We know that. But I think that when we do go forward again, we've got to put the balls in the box. Like again, I'm harping on about Kiefer Moore now. Wrexham now, because he's well thought of and he's the figurehead. Kiefer Moore needs service, needs balls into the box.
Go long to Kiefer.
That's what he's good at. He's not gonna be running past defenders, shooting. I mean, for us, he used to wind me up when he shot from 30 yards or whatever he did. Drive me mad. He's never going to score. But get the ball to him in the box and he'll score a goal. I think that we get to the edge of the box and we're looking at Gus and we're looking at Barry. We're looking at Barry to do something, to cut inside and have a shot. If you've got a Benny, you've got to feed him the ball. You've got to get him 1v1. Then you've got to get players in the box. I think that's if you're going to play with these 10s and cams and all these type like O'Hares and run into the box. Stop hanging around on the edge waiting for the perfect ball to side foot one into the far corner. Get in the box. Frank Lampard was one of the best goal-scoring midfielders in the world. And you know what he learned? He learned when the ball goes wide or it goes into him, I'm going to run that way, and then I'll hit it when I get there. And he scored 25 goals a season from centre mid doing that. Football is so easy. When the ball goes wide and you commit 5 players in, you're likely to score a goal. And Wrexham have figured it out with Kiefer. You get the ball wide, you sling it in the box, and Kiefer's going to win you more battles than he's going to lose, and he's going to score your goals, and it's working. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like Sayers is like, oh, you've got to run here and you've got to stay there, and when you get it, you've got to skin your man and do this. No, just go and work hard, and this is how I'm setting you up. It's not. I think again, if he plays Peck, Hamer, and O'Hare again, what we're going to say?
No up.
What we're going to say then? Because honestly, he is clearly clueless. He's done it too many times already for me. For me, he doesn't know how to set a team up, and it's just so obvious. I don't understand how he's still got a job. But again, I still think he'll get to Charlton. If we lose to Charlton, mate, it's going to be toxic. Bramall Lane is going to be.
Well, we've had the results of the poll, and we've got 263 votes, and it is: would you take Danny Roll? 54% say yes, which means obviously 46% say no. Real split in the fan base. I can understand it. Lads, I will be back on Tuesday, but before we go, I want your predictions for Friday night. Yep, that's right. That's right.
I'm going for a 3-0 Blades win.
You liar.
2-1 defeat.
Dave. Don't let your honesty get in the way of blind optimism.
Well, we're going to win 65-0 then, and Ryan Oney is going to score 85 goals.
That's ridiculous, right, Dave? Come on, mate.
Absolutely ludicrous. Right. Thank you to everybody for joining us in the chat. I really appreciate it. We've gone an hour and a half. We didn't mean to go this long, to be fair. But lads, anything else you want to cover before we go?
No.
I genuinely think he could go 3 at the back. I'm going to put it out there.
All right. Thank you for that. Right. Thank you to everyone for joining us, as always. It's very much appreciated. I will be back on Tuesday with the countdown to kick-off. No show with Cal Fowler this week, so there'll be no weekend games. We'll be back the following week for Yorkshire's finest over on Ramble FC. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards.
Go on, Paul.
Up on Benny. Love.
Shout out